How you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Okay, when somebody suggested The Punisher, I knew immediately what comic I had to do. This is The Punisher, Marvel Knights #1 by Garth Ennis, uh, Steve Dillon, and why can't I remember? Jimmy Palmiotti. Okay, this is what 19. I'm gonna guess it's 2000, 2001. All right. Okay, direct edition. All right. So, little. We all know the Punisher. Frank Castle. His family was killed by them, in crossfire with the mafia while at Central Park, and he goes berserkowitz, and then wants to get revenge on all criminals. Takes out everybody in the mafia, and then never stops. Uh, what I like, Garth Ennis. He's an Irishman who came to America, and he's writing American comics. I love him. Garth Ennis also wrote The Boys. He also wrote Preacher, and he wrote one of my favorite runs called Hitman. I'll break out a Hitman comic one of these days to talk about. He famously doesn't like superheroes, and the Punisher's perfect for him. All right, so the Punisher comic took the world. The Punisher debuted in Amazing Spider-Man was a 129, and he was just instantly a hit. And then he was given a 5-issue limited series, and then that was a big hit. And then boom, just comics. He had a Punisher comic, then Punisher Warzone, a War Journal, and I think he had a Punisher magazine. And he was just. I remember one of the editors in chief at the time, I forget which one, said that the Punisher is a mutant with the ability to sell comic books. He was just printing. Punisher comics were just printing money throughout the 80s and 90s, and then I don't know, just his popularity kind of went away. And then they gave him a limited series. His comics were all canceled one by one. They brought him back in a 5-issue limited series where he was killed, or maybe he was killed at the end of his comic, and they brought him back as an angel. So he had these angelic guns and a glowing halo, and his eyes would glow, and he was like punishing the wicked on behalf of God, and nobody liked it. That's not the Punisher. And then he was gone for a while until Garth Ennis they asked, what do you want to do? And he said, The Punisher. And he just brought it back. No reference to the angel. They never brought it up again. It's just forget about it. So this is Welcome Back Frank. And why is it called Welcome Back Frank? Because it's the real Punisher, not the angel Punisher. Okay, and this is the credits. Garth Ennis story, Steve Dillon pencils, Jimmy Palmiotti inks, Chris Sotomayor colors, Richard Starkings and Comicraft's web edit letters, and Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti editors. I got to talk about that. Nancy Dakeskin, managing editor, and Bob Harris is the chief. Okay, so Marvel filed for Chapter 13, pre-bankruptcy, in 1998 or whatever, and the editor-chief asked Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti of Event, I don't figure what it's called, but Event Studios, and to do a bunch of comics, like some second-tier comics at the time, like Daredevil, Moon Knight, The Inhumans, and they just took it over. They were the Quesada and Palmiotti were the editors, and they hired everybody, and they were in charge. They were their own little studio within Marvel, and that was called Marvel Knights. And Marvel Knights was extremely successful, so successful that they asked Joe Quesada to become the editor-chief of Marvel, and he still is till this day. So it's been 21. No. Now it's CB Cebulski. I take that back. But Joe Quesada is like the I forget that he's one of the big boss men of over executive and creative control. So EECC. And Garth Ennis jumped at the chance to do the Punisher. He just didn't reference the angel stuff, just brought back good old guns and bullets Frank. And he got his partner from the Preacher. So this is the same team that did the Preacher comics. And what a team this is. Look at this. And get a haircut. That's the first line. But look at that splash page. Look at the Punisher. He's just physically a big guy, So everybody's dead. So I guess he just left him alone and get a haircut, you know, of all the sudden door comes pushed through, and it's the Punisher, man. And he's got this Uzi, and he's not saying a word, and he just opens up, and it's 10 seconds of old school John Woo, Eddie, guys don't stand a chance, Bert. And he sees me, and he just about wet myself here, okay, and I'm begging him, I'm just trying to tell him, just hit a score, I don't move the stuff, and I'm certain he was going to cap me. And he says he's going to give me just one chance. He says, quit using and get a job, stay clean, and he even tells me to cut my hair. He calls me a hippie, Robbie. He says he could find me anywhere. He'll be watching all that garbage, and it turns around and just walks out. I mean, Mike, can you believe what it means? It means I'm sitting on enough project to set it up for the rest of our lives, and you have to drive down here and pick it up, and I have to go now. And there's the next panel. Look at that. Grenade and cool guys walking away from explosions. That's the Punisher. Okay, I could close the book. Ta-da, we're done. What else do you need to know? Here's a different ad. And here he is going to his apartment. One of the things about Marvel Knights I have to bring out is it's very like new school. They're going for like a cinematic approach, you know, just picture, you know, they don't need words, they don't need internal dialogue. There's just a glare there I gotta get rid of. And Mr. Smith, dude. Hello, Dave. Spacker, Dave. Hi, Smith. Hello, Mr. Bumpo. Or you wouldn't. So, fat guy stuck in the doorway. This guy is everybody, you know, he pulls him out. Hello, Mr. Smith. Hello, Joan. Now, if you've seen the Punisher movie, the second one, Punisher War with Ray Stevens as the Punisher, it's loosely based on this comic. In that there was a Spacker Dave, I think there was a Bumpo, and this is Joan, except she was played by what's her name, Rebecca Stamos. You know, the same one who played Mystique in the first X-Men movie. But you know, he called her the Mouse. She was all shy. Look at her. She couldn't come out. I live here as John Smith. Whatever works. Look at the Punisher's apartment. You know, Wizard Awards. This was cool. Wizard magazine was a magazine about comic books. It came out every month, and it was a big deal. And I loved it. I subscribed to it. Then they also had a sister magazine called Toy Fair, and it was about toys. I got that too. I loved Wizard. I thought it was a great comic. I was sad to see comic. It was a good magazine. I was sad to see it go. And this was the awards. You could write in, or you know, photocopy this, write it in, and vote for the best comics. I thought it was really, really cool. I got a couple of letters published in Wizard also. The Bullpen Bulletins, you know, this is all the comics that are coming out, Stan's Soapbox. And we're back to Frank. So here he is. He just reaches into his bag, his gun, goes into his closet. Look at that. And just the basics. Been gone a while, distracted. The scum of the city needed. So he's been gone a while. He was distracted, you know. Solo act again. No Micro. Micro was his buddy. No gimmicks. No fancy ammo. No battle vans. No high tech surveillance. Just the basics. So that's Garth Ennis just commenting that this is going to be just Frank Castle and guns and knives. You know, just the basics. Nothing fancy. So you know, here's some criminals. They're doing what criminals do. Look at it. Don't say it, friend. Don't even think it. I mean, who hits both sides in a buy and just leaves without the merchandise and the money? I'll tell you who. It sounds like, don't say it. So they're suspecting that Frank is back after a long absence. So here he is, the Punisher. Morgue's off limits to civilians, pal. Better turn around and mosey on back to the hospital. Come on. How much did Bobby Gucci pay for a look at his brother's corpse? $100, man. You want in there too? What do you got for me? But how am I going to breathe, man? You want me to shoot a couple of air holes? No. I'll be fine, man. Don't worry about a thing. Get lost, bozo. Yeah, disappear. We got a man in here in need of a little privacy. You deaf or something? You know, they're trying to... And he just punches him right in the heart. Boom. Holy. look. I just love the expression Steve Dillon's got. And then, what is that? Stabbed right in the head? Oh, no. Look at these guys. Oh, yes. The first thing they do is freeze, like always. So number one's a freebie. Then they wake up, freak out. The rest pay the full price. Punisher, you psycho, you are dead. just killing. It's just a murder spree. You know, oh, look, he lands on his corpse. Die, freak show. He uses it as a shield. Come on, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go. Gunfight in the morgue. Rule number 1: don't hide behind the thin guy. Oh dear Lord, not me, not me, not me. No. Rule 2: shut up. Got a message for your people, Bobby. Listen. No capes, no mercy. So this is the regular. Oh no, this is advertisement for this particular comic. No mask, no mercy, no capes. Okay, this was X-Men: The Hidden Years. This was John Byrne returning to the X-Men, and what they did is when the X-Men, the original X-Men, they almost canceled it. Instead, they turned it to a reprint issue because it was just cheaper and it kept the name on the shelves. So I think from like issue like 65 or something like that to issue 93, it was a reprint series. So it just reprinted their old stuff. And then in 94, they introduced the new X-Men, and that we all know how that worked out. So this is John Byrne telling stories that would have been in 63 to 94, whatever. It was pretty good, but it was just great to see John Byrne doing the X-Men again, even if it was the old X-Men. So here he is, just walking the streets. Look at this aftermath. Punisher's inner dialogue. Remember how things used to be? Remember the terror? Remember dying every time the phone rang? Because you knew I was out there? The message is for all of the scum, but the Nucci's are a good place to start. Sticky Eddie, dealer, user, like to OD, business rivals. Watch them choke out of blood. Brother Body, Mr. Date Rape, and Carlo, Nucci's #1 son. Been tailing him since he left the Cowboy Club, doing the town. Can't have heard about Bobby yet. Where are you going, punk? So he's just stalking his prey. Perfect. 104th floor. Deck is closed tonight. Unless you're Carlo, you settle for the regular view. He slips the manager an envelope, gets a smile, a nod, and the keys to the auxiliary elevator. He's looking for a thrill. And there's Frank, just like, focused, determined. Don't you be coming up here, Bruno. And see, no one else does either. You got that? Deaf jerk. How about that view, baby? It's amazing, Carlo. Damn right it is. All those other mooks got a crowded together down there, and all the sightseeing morons packed in, each with their noses stuck in each other's armpits. Not us. You stick with Daddy, baby, and keep away from all of that trash down here. You remember that Daddy knows best. So she's noticing Frank. So here we are, all alone, baby. You ready to show Daddy how grateful you are? Baby. Oh, Lord, baby, no. Baby. And the Punisher pulls him out the window. What do you think he's going to do? I caught a glimpse of heaven once. So he's referring the Angel Punisher stories that nobody really likes. I got to pick him up just out of curiosity. The angel showed me. The idea was as I killed for them, clean up their mistakes on earth, eventually redeem myself. Tried it, didn't like it. Told them where to stick it. So here he is. I forgot that he did reference the immediately preceding of Punisher's story where he was an angel. So he told the angels to stick it up. So then we brought me up to heaven to see what I'd be missing. A wife, a son, a daughter, all finally at peace. I haven't seen them since they bled out my arms. Then I was cast down to a world of killers, rapists, psychos, perverts. A brand new evil every minute, spewed out as fast as men could think them up. A world where pitching a criminal dwarf off a skyscraper to tell his fellow scum you're back is a sane and rational act. The angels thought it would be hell for me. Splat. But they're wrong. Welcome back, Frank, says New York City. So there you go. He's back. So I wanted to talk a couple of seconds about the Punisher. So in this, I totally forgot that he referenced, again, I haven't picked this up since I got it. What year was this? What year is this? This is 2000. Okay? So, it's 21 years ago. So I haven't read this in 21 years. And I completely forgot that they referenced the angel stuff. But that's pretty much it. So think about this. The Punisher, he witnessed his family being killed, and then he got so distraught over this that he went on a killing spree that never stopped. He's punishing people. He's punishing the wicked. He's punishing the criminals. And in the immediately previous series, he was given a chance to go to heaven and be with his family. But he would rather come back to earth. He told the angels, I'm not going to work for you. So the angels punished him and sent him back to earth, thinking, and he loves it here on earth. Think about that. What Garth Ennis is saying is that the Punisher is a serial killer. Shouldn't be too much of a shock to anybody. He's a serial killer whose prey is the guilty, like Dexter. Okay? So Garth Ennis later wrote a miniseries called Bourne, and I just bought it because of his Garth Ennis. You know, it was a Marvel comic, written by Garth Ennis, and I forget who the artist was. So I just picked it up because I get anything with Garth Ennis's writing credit. And what was it about? It was about a bunch of guys in Vietnam, and they're fighting, and they're all talking about their sergeant. Their sergeant was born for war. Their sergeant was the best sergeant. They would follow him to hell and back. He was the greatest sergeant in the world. They're a bunch of Marines. I think by the end of the issue, it turns around, it's Frank Castle. So this is the story of Frank Castle in Vietnam before he became the Punisher, as told by members of his team. I'm not a military guy, so I don't know what his subordinates would be. A troop, a platoon. I'm sorry, I don't know. Please, if somebody, Vaughn, I know you would know. You're a Marine. I don't know the correct term. So his men, his soldiers that he's serving are just admiring Frank, and he was just born for. And then they go into battle, and of course, crazy odds, and everybody gets killed except for Frank. And Frank just bloody murders everybody and makes it back, and everybody is astounded by the incredible violence. And you were born for war. And he basically is saying, like, you know, that once in a generation there's people that are just comfortable, and this is their element and stuff like that. And that's what he's saying about himself. And then, you know, he goes back home, he's discharged. You know, a normal person, when they see their family get killed, they don't spend a lifetime murdering people, even though those people deserve to be murdered. They grieve, they move on. So Frank was hinting, Garth Ennis was hinting that he wasn't happy. He was miserable when he was married. He was play acting. He was doing everything that he was supposed to do, mowing the lawn, going grocery shopping, you know, going to a job every day. And he was actually secretly, deep down, thrilled when his family got killed, because he was born to be a murderer, to be a killer. He's a serial killer. He has that urge. He has that need. He has that desire to kill, to punish. And he channels it in the most socially acceptable way by going after those who need punishment. I think that's a pretty controversial take, but you know what? I got to agree with it. You know, I could see Bruce Wayne wanting, you know, he goes out to punish people after what happened to his father because he doesn't want anybody to suffer the way he did. Bruce Wayne is insane too. You don't dress up like a bat and go out and beat up clowns. But, you know, again, it's a comic book world. But Bruce Wayne, he was a scared little boy, and he wants to conquer his fear by making the world a better place. The Punisher just wants to kill. He was born to kill, and he's not in a war right now. If all of a sudden there was a land war in America, he would be back in his element again. He is a soldier. He's a killer. You know, he punishes the wicked. He's not meant for a mother to be a father, to have children and stuff like that. That was an albatross around his neck, and that's what Garth Ennis was saying. That was a mistake. He was secretly pleased, and some people get a little annoyed about that. Doesn't take away from the fact he still loved his wife, he still loved his children, but you know, he didn't want to see them dead. You know, he never harmed them, but I could see he would probably be like a cold, maybe a little aloof father. He wasn't a doting, caring. You know, they did a good job in the in the Netflix Daredevil show with the Punisher. I thought that was just a really good interpretation of the Punisher, more sympathetic than Garth Ennis's Punisher. But I have to say, I like Garth Ennis's Punisher the best because to me it just makes the most sense. This is a disturbed person who was disturbed from the day he was born. Maybe, and I like Chuck Dixon, another famous Punisher writer. Chuck Dixon says, he goes, today, right now, in 2001, when they're doing the Punisher, they're exploring his feelings, stuff. He goes, you don't explore the Punisher's feelings. That's a mistake. He goes, the Punisher's comic is not about emotion and feelings, stuff like that. It's about a psychopath going out and killing people. And Garth Ennis is the only one who could come close to exploring the feelings of the Punisher and make it real, because Garth Ennis just has that gift. He hate to say it, but it's true. Garth Ennis is he writes man stories for men. There's no other way to describe it. Read Hitman. Read Preacher. Geez, that comic is just like, steak and a beer. It's just so good. So much better than the TV show. The TV show, I think they were kind of like making fun of the source material, whereas the comic, it's so much better. I'll bring up Preacher one of these days. Okay, I thought it was going to be in this issue, but it wasn't. But Joan, the girl, in the second issue, maybe the third issue, she knocks on the door. And Frank, he's just cleaning his guns, in the privacy of his own home, not murdering nobody, not bothering nobody. Knock on the door. What does he do? Does what the Punisher would do. Jumps up, grabs a gun, stands behind the door, flips open the door crack and peeps. Sees it's Joan. Joan is on the other side of the door holding a tray of cookies, and he's got a big-ass gun just flat against the door ready to shoot. And Joan, of course, has no clue that there's a gun. Nobody knows he's the Punisher. They just know he's John Smith. And she's just like, oh, hi, John. I never got a chance to welcome you to the building. I made you cookies. And then, of course, you see his thoughts, and he goes, what do I do? Do I take the cookies? This could cause complications. This would be taken as a gesture of friendship. I can't afford a friend. She'll be over, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, if I don't take the cookies, then she'll be spurned, and maybe she'll be watching me more closely, see what's up. This is the thought process of the Punisher. He had it been a freak of nature with the machete at the door, Frank Castle would have known what to do. Instantly rolled into action, dispatched everything, problem solved. But here it is as a nice neighborly woman with a plate of cookies, and Frank is paralyzed with indecision. I just thought that was such a good scene. And then the cut to the next scene, he's up on a building. So that was the end of the panel. Like, what should I do? You turn the page, he's up on a building, holding a rifle, looking through the scoop with a cookie in his mouth. He goes, I made the right choice. This is a delicious cookie. And of course, he ends up making friends with everybody in the building, and then that all ends in disaster because everywhere the Punisher goes is tragedy. He's a tragic character. But this is the Punisher. This was, I think, the let me see. I looked at the addiction, but I didn't really. The Punisher, Volume 3. So this is the third volume of the Punisher, but I don't think it. I think there's more because there was a miniseries. Oh, I guess they call it up because it's just the Punisher. So Punisher War Journal would be a separate title, because there's been the Punisher miniseries, the Punisher regular series, Punisher War Journal. Then there was that Angel Punisher, which I don't know. So I would consider this the fifth volume, but they're saying it's the third volume because it's just the Punisher with no descriptors added to it. There you go. This lasted a couple issues. I know the whole Welcome Back Frank, it could be bought in one trade paperback, and I highly recommend it. It's so good. But and then 7 to 13 is another writer who I can't remember. But this whole Punisher run was great. I think it lasted like 37 issues. Then they stopped it and brought it back again at a number one. This is when Marvel started canceling comics. At any dip in sales, they would just cancel the comic and put another number one on, try to get people to buy the number. I don't know. I guess this bankruptcy scared them, and they were trying any cheap tactic to get more sales. So, as great quality as this was the beginning of like super, cheesy tactics by Marvel that I eventually got tired of. And then there was Marvel Max. And Max was like R-rated comics. They could have nudity and cursing and more violence. So, of course, Garth Ennis took over that. And, oh, my God, those are just so good. So, if you like the Punisher, but then, like, Punisher super violent, super, R-rated. It's the only thing. Look for anything that says Punisher Max. They are good. A couple of them are just standalone comics. I remember I gave one Punisher Max comic to my friend Mike, and he just gave it back to me. He goes, "This was excellent. I never want to read anything like this again. It was so disturbing." And I don't even want to talk about what the comic was about. That's how disturbing it was. All right. If you're interested, you could message me at John's Longbox at yahoo.com, and we'll talk about the details about that. Okay. So there you go. That's the Punisher. Just great. I never used to like the Punisher. I don't know. I wanted superhero comics. I wanted 4-color and laser beam stuff like that. So I kind of always liked the concept of the Punisher, but I was never a Punisher collector. I have the odd comic before that, but this cemented me as a full-on Punisher fan. I've since bought collections of full runs of the old Punisher comics. So yeah, because I'm crazy that way. But yeah, this is top notch. You cannot go wrong. I have everything except the Angel Punisher. I got to get the Angel Punisher. I think it's just 5 issues, just out of curiosity. Well, there you go. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Please like the videos. Please subscribe. Try to recommend. I got a couple of subscribers, but it's just really creeping. I'm trying to make it to 100. So thanks a lot. Bye bye.